did I not do this? Hang on. Did I mirror my video? Is this mirrored? Is this, yeah, okay, it's mirrored. We're good. Oh, it's weird to be mirrored. So hopefully the audio works nice and sound. The mic is way far away from me. So it'll be interesting to see if you guys can hear me. Hello, everybody. It's the nighttime edition. See, I don't do this at night. So this was an opportunity to go live at night. We're on live on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, not on the regular channels, just on Twitch as well, LinkedIn. And normally I am sleeping right about now because my day generally starts at 4 in the morning. But because I'm off-site, I'm out of town, I'm in Cobourg, Ontario for an OMRON, the Ontario Media Relations Officer Network. Is that right? OMRON? Media, yeah, that's what it is. And we're here in Cobourg. The Cobourg Police have hosted us. So we're here talking about media relations, talking about police and social media and cool stuff. And I'm going to be doing a presentation tomorrow morning all about TikTok. So we're excited to be doing that. But I didn't want to neglect you. I didn't want to just leave you out. Normally we do a live from 9 to 10. Of course, we were in the conference all day. So this is before I go and do some more work before bed. I wanted to connect and say hello, see what's cooking. But you know what? There's no reason that we can't talk about things that are important to you in terms of traffic and policing. So if you've got questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. I can do that. I don't want to mess around. I was going to bring the microphone closer. It feels so far away. But you know what? If you can hear me, then that's all good. Just checking out some chat. Now, generally, I don't spend time in the chat. But if you've got questions, throw out. Hey, A. Topple says, hey, Sean. Tick Kika Kika Talk says, hi there. Hi there. Undead Neon is in the house. He is one of our moderators. Ashton Stein, another one. He likes this live time. I wish I could do this all the time. I just can't. Let's see. Rob says, thanks, love your videos. Ola from Lover Girl. Let's see here. Oh, here. I want to become a police officer. Where can I start? Funny, we were talking about that today in our roundtable discussions about how to improve recruiting efforts. How do we get more police officers? How do we speak to people who want to be joining up and helping us, protect their communities? So if you are interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, by all means, check out our website, www.torontopolice.on.ca. But you know what? I was speaking to some of my friends from Sarnia Police. They're looking for applicants. So if you want to, if you're not a Toronto person, you want to be a little further out, Sarnia Police is hiring. So check them out. They're on the web. We got a Manitoba. Hello. Good to see you, Manitoba. Okay, well, let's see here. Another Manitoban. Romancing the soul thinks this is boring. That's no fun. Let's see here. This is Rebecca says, I don't even drive. I love watching you. Well, thank you for following. Can you believe, now this is just wild. If you haven't been following our channel for long, or it's just brand new, by all means follow us. We'd love to have you as part of the gang. But we jumped from 200,000 followers to almost 420,000 in a week. So the accounts just exploded. We got a video that went viral. It's about 4 million views right now, just under, I think. And it's awesome. So check us out. We talk about... my life late today, yeah. We generally answer your traffic and police questions. And today I'm doing it from the hotel where the conference is being held. And you know what? It's a small group, not Halton. I'm a Toronto police officer. Ding wants to know. Or is it Dingo? Yeah, I think it's Dingo Donahue. Wants to know if so I'm a Toronto officer, but I'm currently in Cobourg. And it's the Cobourg Police that's hosting us here. Let's see here. Oh, Q&A is lighting up. So look at this. Will, you're awake. Yeah, I'm doing well. I just had a good dinner. Actually, the food has been a highlight of this trip. We've been having food. It's been great social opportunities, great catching up with all sorts of OMRON members. And OMRON is the Ontario Media Relations Officer Network. It's media relations officers from services across Ontario, and we're meeting, talking about best practices and how to social media. What is it? We had a great acronym or hashtag we came up with, which is mostly silly but kind of cool. Let's see here. Child car seat in a single row cab truck. Yeah, you can do it legally, but they'll tell you that you can't or you shouldn't because the airbag placement. So you're supposed to disable the airbag, but new vehicles being manufactured, because the states is no longer allowing them to be disabled, it causes a problem. May not disable, which is unsafe. So if you got to do it, you got to do it. Ideally, as far away from the car, the airbag as possible. And if you can avoid it, then don't transport them in that vehicle. Not realistic, but I got to say it. Will says I go to bed around 12, so I joined. Awesome. Yeah, I remember the days when I used to stay up late. It'll probably be late night tonight because I'm working on a presentation for tomorrow, and I want to update it so I have the most poignant of points to make for the presentation tomorrow. Because we had so many great conversations, it made me think of things that should be added. So, am I going live at all tomorrow? Will wants to know. And the answer is no. I won't be able to go live because I'll be in the presentation unless we do a quick shout out. Maybe I'll just spark this up tomorrow while we're doing the what's it here? Doing the presentation and say hello to everybody during the hour. But at the end of the day, we'll see. We'll see. I'll do my best. Let's see here. Is it your goal to become a sergeant? At the moment, I did apply for sergeant. I went through the sergeant's process, and life got in the way, and I did not get to the next stage. I didn't get the score I needed to, and not for anyone's fault. Not even it. Just I got a little busy doing some other things, and I couldn't put in the time that I needed to prepare. But yeah, my goal is to become a sergeant and move to the next level. Let's see here. Are you staying hydrated? You know what? Before I went live, I went down to the lobby and I got myself some agua. So I will do it. And it was what?
How did that all come to be?
It might have been because Q told me, "Don't you dare go live without water," because I can hear you already. Smack, smackety, smack, smack. Okay. Hey, love your vids. Are plate covers legal? The answer is no. In Ontario, you can't have anything obstructing your license plate. That includes plastic covers, license plate frames, even the ones that come from your dealership that are. And let me go off on a tangent. Why does anyone want to advertise the dealership that you sold? You paid them money for your car. They didn't pay you or give you a conditional contract saying if you drive around with their name on your bumper, you get 5%. No, there's no discount. Just take it off. They're actually illegal. They obstruct the plate. Even if you don't get into trouble, one day you might. And I don't want you to get tickets. The whole goal of this channel is to educate, is to tell you all the reasons to avoid problems. And that's one of them. You don't need the hassle. So get rid of those license plate frames. And of course, any tinted cover, colored cover, even clear covers. If they're plastic, they may not obstruct the entire plate. They may only obstruct certain areas where the plastic is thicker. They're generally not, optically correct. So avoid issues. Don't put covers on your plates. Okay. What cars are in your department? Ones with mostly 4 tires. No, the deal is that we have a number of different vehicles that we use. Generally speaking, the Ford Explorer is our primary vehicle for PRU, for primary response unit. They phased out the Ford Taurus is no longer being made, so that's gone. The Crown Victoria, which I loved, no longer made. So really, the only option is the Crown Vic. We're a Ford primary company, and I don't think that's because we're loyal to the brand. I think it's the one that meets our requirements best. And who knows, maybe that'll change one day. Hello from QC, from Quebec. Hello, bonjour. I don't speak any English. I don't speak any French. English I'm still working on. Are blue fog lights allowed? Actually, no, they're not. You're only allowed to project amber or white. Amber, so yellow or white. Beyond that, you could be getting yourself into a ticket. Nobody wants that. Now, if you're getting fog lights and you're never activating them, they're never on, and just for show, I don't know why you would do that, but then if they're not on, I don't think you're violating. I would just avoid it, though. What's your favorite car on the department? I like the F-150 for our work vehicles. They fit best. But I also like the Harley Davidson, which is not a car, but I was a Motor Squad. I'm wearing my Motor Squad jacket right now. I'm a Harley Motor Squad fan, so I can't stop wearing the jacket. I miss being on the bikes. Let's see here. Why are there OPP officers at high schools? I imagine if you're in a community that doesn't have a municipal policing service and the OPP are handling municipal policing functions in that area, maybe they're school resource officers, but I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know if you're talking about a specific event or if they're always there, but I imagine they're performing municipal policing duties. Best moment on the job. I love this question, and I've got a couple of them. One of them was actually before I was even a police officer. I was an auxiliary constable. I volunteered for the service. I was a uniformed auxiliary, which a civilian can be. I was riding a police motorcycle, and there was a kid that looked through the passenger window, the rear passenger window on the passenger side. That's why it's the passenger window. Looked at me on the motorcycle that was beside him, and his face lit up. And I gave him a thumbs up, and his face, if he could smile more, his head would have exploded. He was so excited, and I made his day. He made my day, and that was a very short interaction, but it's something that's just stuck with me as one of my favorite moments. The more recent one was the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games was, if you don't know what it is, it's basically folks that have served in militaries, fought in conflicts, and they came back with either stress-induced injuries, or they had traumatic stress injuries, or they had physical injuries, lost limbs, or what have you. But they overcame, and regardless of what their injuries were, they compete in sport, and they show that they are unbreakable, that their souls are intact, and that they don't give up. And I met these people, these athletes, and I helped as a motor squad officer escort them around and transport them to their venues for their competitions. And it was my absolute honor and privilege to be a part of that. And by absolutely the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and humbling. These heroes came and thanked me for my service, but it was those people who gave up, limb and risked life, and that was my best moments. It was like 2 weeks of awesome. Is it illegal to lower your car? As long as it's done legally, safely, within the, I believe, according to Neon, 1.5 inches is the lowering limit. He's a mechanic, he knows stuff, but it has to be safe. Whatever you do, it has to be done properly. You can't have body rub, frame rub with the tire. So we check it lock to lock to make sure when the vehicle suspension is compressed, there can be no contact. So if it's done safely and legally, it's no problem. Okay. My other favorite question: how fast over the speed limit is speeding? How fast over the speed limit is illegal? Any limit over the, let's see here, who is this? The Box Score Warriors want to go live. Maybe later. Not taking anybody on the live right now. How fast over the speed limit is illegal? Anything over the speed limit is illegal. So 1 kilometer over the limit is technically illegal. Whether or not you'd be stopped for 1 kilometer is another story, but technically you can't do it. Okay. What is this? Can I go to a drive test having dark tinted lights? Well, those dark tinted headlights are illegal. You're not meeting the grades. So if the person who is your tester is aware of the fact that it's illegal, I imagine they would not allow you to go, because it's an unsafe vehicle. You can't have them. Not during the day.
Where did you go? Scared me there.
Getting my water.
What happens if I drive with just a G1 by myself?
Oh, I'm getting all the good questions. These are great questions. And thanks. QQ is the voice that you're hearing. She's one of our volunteers, one of our moderators, who also assists me by bringing your voices to me if you're talking in chat, because I don't look at chat. So, G1 alone, you run the risk, aside from the fact that you're operating a vehicle while you're not properly insured, because you're not licensed. So if you get into an accident, you're going to get in trouble by way of the company, or the insurance company is not going to cover your collision. But let's talk about tickets. You're going to get a charge for G1 drive unaccompanied, assuming you're pulled over or have a collision. You're going to have that charge. That charge comes with a consequence of a 30-day suspension, aside from the dollar amount of the fine. If the person who gave you the keys to the vehicle, knowing you're a G1, they get charged under the Highway Traffic Act for permitting an unlicensed driver or a driver to drive in contravention of their condition. The condition is you have to have a supervising driver. So they get in trouble. Now, if they say, well, I didn't know they took the car. Okay, now you're going to talk about criminality. You're going to get charged for taking a vehicle without consent, and that's a more serious, of course, situation. So at the end of the day, be a G1 driver and don't drive unless you are following the rules, because if you get your first conviction, 30-day suspension, second conviction, 90-day suspension, third conviction, kicked out of the program. So let's say you've been doing it for 8 or 10 months, being good, and then you do this one, I just got to get milk from the corner, and you get caught. Well, on the third time, you're going to get kicked out of the program, and you're going to lose all time and all money that you've invested. So if you only need another month or so till you could go for your G2, well, now you got to start at zero. That is the deal. Hey, Tig Devil, how's it going, man? I haven't seen you around. Tig Devil, you should check out his channel. He does amazing, amazing art with a TIG welder. I'm waiting to make, I got to put away some money because I'm going to get him to make a Toronto Police logo. But check out his stuff. It's absolutely awesome. Are there any police supercars or hypercars? There may be them somewhere, but not in the Toronto Police. We don't have any hypercars. Years ago, we had some Camaros, and there's some interesting stories how those ceased to be. But we had 2 Camaros, I think LT1 Camaros, and they're not here anymore. They've gone to the next world.
My turn.
Go ahead.
Okay. What should I do about expired stickers? Or what if I see others with expired stickers after the expiration date? You gotta let me finish. I knew you were quick to jump on that.
Are we? So can I go now? Can I?
Yeah, your turn.
Okay, now I'm allowed. So the deal is with expired stickers. If your license plate or driver's license expired March 1st, 2020 or later, and you have a full license, so license plate that expired or driver's license that's a full license that expired after March 1st, March 1st, 2020 or later, is extended regardless of that expiry until February 28th, 2022. So till this coming February. You don't have to wait that long. You don't have to wait till then until you can renew, but you're covered under that extension. My suggestion, renew it now. If you see other people, that's not your problem. That's their problem. If you want to tell them, great, but I wouldn't advise it because most people will not appreciate you trying to help them. So rather than ending up in a situation that results in road rage and unhappy, bird signals, I would just, let them figure it out on their own. Now, something to talk about, since it was a post I made today and it's all over our social media accounts. If you know about peeling plates, damaged plates, plates that are illegible, the ones that are like they completely peeled off, all that reflective coating, and all you have left is metal, those are illegal. You can be charged $110 for regardless of one or two wordings for charges. At the end of the day, it's $110, no demerit points, but you can get those tickets every day if you don't get them replaced. The solution is go take them to the Ministry of Transportation. If they're under 5 years old, you're going to likely get them changed for free. You'll obviously have to memorize a new license plate, but it'll be a new plate and you will not be at risk of getting a license plate or a ticket for that. Now, if it is over 5 years, they don't have to necessarily replace them for free. They may charge you $59. But again, $59, we do that math, it's less than $110, so it's a better deal. Now, many people have been commenting on the video that we put up on TikTok saying that they've gone in with 7 or 8 year old plates and they've replaced them for free as well. So you might get lucky, and if that's the case, good stuff. Okay. Would it be okay to practice in a parking lot? Do you mean practice driving without a license? Practice driving with a license? Practice driving safely, or spinning out and doing donuts? All those things matter. If you're just practicing in a parking lot and you're a licensed driver, obviously no issue. If you are practicing in a parking lot and you are unlicensed, actually, the Highway Traffic Act doesn't cover the drive no license issue on private property, so technically we can't charge you. Do we suggest it? No, we don't. If you get into a collision on private property and you're unlicensed, that's a problem. So things to think about. In terms of stunt driving, skidding out, burnouts, donuts, that is illegal. In Ontario, it is considered stunt driving. You can get that vehicle taken away for 14 days. If you have a license, you would lose it for 30 days. If you don't have a license, you can still have a suspension registered against your license. That we would create a license number and register that suspension. I believe that's how that goes. So you have to be careful. Are motorcycles still... Go ahead.
Do the OPP have any jurisdiction in Toronto property or just on highways?
So the deal is the OPP are provincial officers, but they are good for anywhere in the province of Ontario. Now, generally speaking, the Toronto Police, who are also provincial officers, or we're officers who remain police officers in the entire province. We focus on the city, they focus on the highways, but we're still police officers. So if we are in their area or they are in ours and something happens, they still have the authority to act, even though they would probably let us handle it. They have the authority to. Now, the question that I popped on screen but didn't actually address. Are motorcycles still around? Absolutely. We have a motor squad with the Toronto Police Traffic Services Unit. We have full-time members, and then we have other members that are qualified to use our motorcycles as well. That was my unit before I jumped into this current office in traffic safety programs. Is my G2 test paid by my G1 payment? I believe it is, but don't quote me because I actually don't know. But that's my understanding. I believe that you're covered all the way up into your G unless you have to retest. Does anybody want to confirm that? I'm sure somebody in the chat room knows more than that because I never participated in the graduated licensing. I am that old. I had my G like a month after I had my what was then called a 365. What happens if you lose more than 6 points with a G2? I don't remember if it's suspension or not. It might be suspension. Generally speaking, with a full license, you have to get, I think, 15 points before you're suspended. But with a G2, 6 points might do it. So it's actually in the driver's handbook, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Let's see here.
I sent it to you.
You sent it to me? Oh, hang on.
Oh, you have to duck to see it? Okay, I'll just read it. The G2
it's
test
way
costs...
far away.
Okay, it costs $53.75 each time you take it.
After the first one or every time?
Each time you take it.
I thought it got covered. I thought it was included in the first time.
Nope.
Just to answer this question, since it's on screen from Mama Forever 8, are there any slick top cars? Yes, we do have some slick top cars. What is the biggest factor for collisions? More often than not, it is speed. However, a very high percentage is also distraction, whether it be cell phone or nose picking, whatever the case may be, not focusing on the task at hand of driving. But speed is more often than not a factor in collisions. No worries, Will. Will's just apologizing for spamming, but he wasn't really spamming. He was having an issue with his connection. Okay. Let's see what just happened. I don't know what I did. Hopefully I didn't do it. Oh, maybe it's gone. Here we go. If I muted you, Will, it was an error. I got the wrong button.
Oh, no. Can I drive without insurance?
Can I drive without insurance? Can I drive without a license? Can I drive without shoes? Shoes, yes. Everything else, no. In Ontario, there is an act specifically saying that you have a compulsory automobile act, insurance act that says you have to have insurance, and the fines are insanely high. $5,000 to $25,000 for your first violation. That's the range, and or 6 months in jail. So it's something we kind of take seriously in Ontario. You got to have insurance. Kind of take seriously. Okay. That fan is loud, huh?
I don't hear it.
Really? Then that microphone is awesome. I don't hear it. That's amazing. Well, it's just turned off. Sir, Benny says, shouldn't you be off work hours? I'm always working. I tend to wake up and check my TikTok and socials and emails before I brush my teeth. I do about a half an hour of that before I even get into the mode of next steps. Then I hit the road, I go to work, and when I get to work, I do everything that I do to prep for the show, maybe film some content, and then I go live from 9 to 10. And have meetings with various members of my unit and see what's important for the day, because you never know. Things may go off the rails. We might be doing something because unit needs say we got to do it. And then so I have to be 10, now 8 hours again. Sometimes I even take a lunch break, but not always. Then I drive home and get back onto checking comments, because I'm interested to know, that your questions are getting asked or answered, I should say, and see what's going on. And sometimes it's a ticker. It's just fascinating watching how many new followers jump in and how many comments and how well a video is doing. I'm addicted to TikTok. There's no question. So I'm always working. But yes, I should be doing other things, but I have other stuff to do. Can I drive in the USA with my G2 license? Yes, you can. It is a probationary license, not a learner's permit. It's a little bit different. It's equal and permissible to be used in any province. And when you travel, I believe it's covered everywhere. The only issue is you have to comply with your conditions. Alcohol, you have to maintain the 12 to 5 a.m. restrictions of passengers. Okay.
Spam and not the one in the can.
No, don't spam. That's not nice. No, I'm good. Not muted. Okay. Good. Yeah, please. We have moderators here. There may not be that many of them in here tonight. Usually, we have a whole army of them. But this is a weird hour, and people have got stuff to do. But please don't spam. Ask your question once. Don't harass anybody. If you do, you're going to get kicked out, and that's not fun for anybody. It's work for us, and we're really for the moderators because I'm not paying attention. So if you're spamming with the intention of annoying me, it's not working. I'm not looking. But you are not police officers and are not paid. Okay. Driving in the snow new to a two-wheel drive truck. I don't know what the question is here. Let me see if you have a follow-up. Part 1, just got into winter driving. You're going to get used to it pretty quick, especially with a two-wheel drive truck. I'd suggest snow tires and slowing down, getting used to your vehicle. That doesn't, back in the day, you used to go to a parking lot and figuring out, how it handled. That's now going to be something called stunt driving. So I would suggest just taking it easy, taking it slow. Do police mainly operate the road? I don't really know what you mean. Like, are we on the road? We respond to 911 calls. We, as traffic officers, we deal with investigations related to the Highway Traffic Act. We investigate collisions. We investigate fatalities, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, and we use the road all the time because we have to get where we're going. So I don't know what you're really going for there. Tint question. Get my water here, sorry. Maybe I'll just keep this water in my hand. Hi, Sean. What window tint is legal? Illegal. All right, illegal. If you're talking about Ontario law, you can't obscure the interior of your vehicle by either color coding or reflective coating. Put the water over here. Now, percentage. In the inspection manual for someone gets safetied, the light vehicle inspection guide says 30% light blockage, so 70% light has to get through, and that covers the windows left and right of the driver immediately. The back windows unregulated. In fact, you can black them out entirely as long as you have a mirror view to the rear. So if it's going to be a side mirror because you blacked out the back and you can't see with your rear view mirror, it's okay because you need technically one mirror to the back. Not exactly the safest option, but it is the legal option. So what else? Windshield. Can't have anything on your windshield, especially if your vehicle is 2017 manufacture date or newer. Vehicles prior to 2017, so 2016 and older, are technically permitted to have a 3-inch banner, bar, brow, whatever you want to call it, across the top sun strip. New vehicles can't have that. Many people like putting it on, and it's a no-no. But for the purposes of being charged by the police, obscuring the interior of the vehicle is it. Another great question. Are motorcycles allowed on the HOV? Yes, they are. As of 2017, I believe, 400 series highways adopted the rule to allow them to travel solo occupant, solo operator, whereas prior to that, it needed to have a passenger and a rider.
Here's a fun one going off of the motorcycle. Someone asked in chat, can I ride a 125cc motorcycle with just my G license? Now backwards.
So the deal is that the 125cc motorcycle is a motorcycle and requires a motorcycle license. In fact, what we're seeing a lot of, and it is super illegal, are bicycle conversion kits to make the mopeds. People say, oh, it's the same as an e-bike. It's not. An e-bike has legislation that allows an e-bike to operate if it conforms to certain rules. Gas-powered bike conversions don't fall under that. So if you have a gas-powered 125cc bike, or you have a 49cc or 50cc bicycle conversion, they're both motorcycles. And you can't operate them on the road without license, ownership, and insurance. And you need to have a M class license, which is a motorcycle class license. Mind you, the moped would require a low speed or low power license, which is a separate designation. Let's see here. Do police often collaborate with fire or EMS in terms of calls for service? Yeah, it's usually a tiered response is a common terminology. It means that police, fire, and ambulance are all dispatched to the same call. They sometimes get there first, sometimes we get there first, sometimes we all arrive at the same time, but we're all working together all the time. We're all part of the same team trying to keep people safe. We just do it with slightly different equipment. Let's see here. Height for lift kits. My understanding is 3 inches is the max, and it should be an approved lift kit. That's my understanding. Will there ever be speed cameras on the highway? I keep talking about it, hoping it's going to come true. There used to be photo radar units on the highway. They were taken away. But now the city's using photo radar in school zones, and they're making applications to expand their use. Who knows? Maybe we'll see it. That's probably the only way we're going to get people to slow down, because we can't pull over everybody at the same time. We have to keep, picking people that seem to be, the biggest problem. But no one should be speeding. The truth is, we should all slow down. We'd actually get there faster. People say, how's that possible? That goes against any rhyme or reason. If we go faster, we get there faster. But the truth is, you accelerate more, you decelerate more, you have less smoothness to your ride. So instead of doing a consistent speed, you're up and down, you're wearing out your brakes, you're burning more gas, you're more heavily wearing and tearing your vehicle. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. In any case, do you think that winter tires should be mandatory here? Well, if you're married to my wife, which I am, yes, they are mandatory here. As soon as I had children, it was no longer an option. And the truth is, they're the best thing I ever did. Both my kids, my wife, and tires.
Say hi to them.
Are they here? Are they watching?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're watching. Are they
Twitch.
really?
Twitch.
Oh, on Twitch. Hi, family. Well, my little ones are well asleep, but my wife is watching, and that's awesome. Hello, Twitch wife. Okay, who's probably laughing her rear off at my last spiel. Okay, how can I avoid getting my license suspended? Do not break the law, and if you do break the law, pay your fines. That would be the way to do it. Additionally, don't drive impaired. These are all things that, or don't drive stunt. Like, these are all things that would prevent you from getting suspensions. I don't know in what context you're asking, but that's my general advice. Follow the rules of the road. You will do just fine. Break the rules. You may not have a happy ending in terms of tickets and suspensions, etc., etc., etc. Can motorcycles lane filter in stopped traffic? Not legally. It's not an adopted practice here. It is not something that is specifically illegal. Could you potentially be charged with careless driving? Yes, you could. I haven't gone through detailed enough to dig to see what other charges would apply, but careless would be one of those catch-alls that would cover it. Here's the deal. You might be a great rider, but have you seen some of the other drivers? Not so great. All you need is one person to make a last-minute move, and you're smoked. I am not in the motor squad today because I was in a collision 3 years ago. I'm still suffering injuries from that collision, and in a roundabout way, it's interesting. And I ended up doing what I'm doing now, which is really cool. But I would have preferred not to have been severely injured in a collision. Let's see here. So yeah, I would say, and mine was a low-speed thing, relatively low speed, dealing with stop traffic, approaching a red light. Like that's sort of something that if you were lane splitting, you might be in a situation like. So there we go. Moving on. And by the way, because it's been a long time since I've said hello and explained who I am. Just to reset the room, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I work at traffic safety programs. I'm not at work. I'm currently in Cobourg, Ontario. Apparently, it's the place with the nicest beach in Ontario. The mayor came and told me that today. Hi, Mayor, in case you're watching. Police chief, he didn't say that, but I think he intended to say that it has the nicest beach. In any case, I'm here for an Omron convention. We are meeting with the Ontario Media Relations Officer Network, and we are talking about, well, how to do the job. Now, in terms of media relations, how to most effectively get messaging out, and best practices and social media and fun stuff. In fact, I'm going to be talking about TikTok tomorrow. Let's see here. Is it illegal to drink coffee and eat while driving? Well, you've just said drink, so I'm going to have some water. As I headbutt the screen.
Can I get a DUI on an e-bike?
Yes, you can get a DUI on an e-bike. An e-bike is a motor vehicle under the Criminal Code of Canada, so an e-bike would qualify for a charge of, driving under the influence of alcohol or impaired operation. So absolutely, you can be arrested on an e-bike, but technically, I think you can get arrested on a skateboard that has electric power, a one-wheel, anything that is. So the Criminal Code defines a motor vehicle as anything other than muscular power. It's got a motor, it's got an engine, it's not you making it move, you can be arrested for impaired operation. Going back to the question on screen, it says, is it illegal to drink coffee and eat while driving? Yes and no. It's not illegal to consume foods per se. However, if you are eating a 3-course meal and your focus isn't driving and you're all over the road, then careless driving would be a charge. Not the consumption, but the behavior. Okay. Do cops go to court if they give a ticket? Yeah. We kind of have to go and testify. That's all part of the game. We're obligated to go and provide testimony in support of the tickets that we issue. We can't just decide not to show up. If we don't show up, we have to have a reason. So it's pretty serious. We do show up for court. Now, people usually say, I'm going to go to take it to court and hope the officer doesn't show. Works sometimes, but not most of the time. And generally speaking, if it's the lottery ticket you're hoping for, especially now that we can remotely testify by Zoom, you're probably not going to get that working for you. So just saying, better not to get a ticket than to try and figure out ways to avoid being convicted of one. Let's see here. What are the rules on LED lights? I don't know what you mean. What kind of LED lights? Because there are many. I need to know more about what you're asking. Let's see here. How old for keeping an airsoft pistol? I'm not aware of an age. I would assume it's somewhere in the vicinity of 16 if there is one. But here's the big deal, the big thing to know. Airsoft guns tend to look like real guns. Police officers can't look at it at a glance and realize it's not real. Thus, you'll be treated as though you have a real gun, and that could be very bad. From the perspective of a police officer who's in fear of their own life, or at least being injured or risking their life, you might have a gun drawn on you. You might be arrested and handcuffed and searched and so on, all because of a toy gun. Airsoft does have a projectile. It can be dangerous. We had someone who walked into a subway station with something that looked like or a train station, that's something that looked like a machine gun and caused panic. Just showing that, never mind what your intention was, just showing it was a criminal offense. So it needs to be transported in a container, not being shown and brandished to people to freak them out. Not a good idea. And I mean that it's illegal and you could get arrested. But in terms of the youngest age, I don't know the specifics. It's not something I've ever dealt with. I would assume it's somewhere 16. It may even be 18, but I think it's 16.
18. If you're under 18, you have to be supervised by an 18-year-old.
There you go. Okay, it's 18. Under 18 must be supervised by an adult, someone over the age of 18. Thanks, Q, for checking it out. Hopefully, I'll remember that for next time. And again, as much as I'm a traffic officer, I am a police officer. However, I've been removed from the road for some time, and I haven't dealt with any airsoft stuff. So, for those things, I thank Q for looking up on my behalf. Okay, let's see here. What happens if they don't show up? This is in relation to your court question. If an officer does not show up and they have not made an application or notice that's been approved, it's possible that that case could be dismissed. It's also possible that it could be put over to another date. Depends on the situation. Okay. What's the fine for running red lights with camera? I have to look it up, and I'm on the phone that I used to look it up. That's the HTA is on this phone, so I can't look it up. I believe it's $3.25 for red lights by a police officer. I don't know the fine with a red light camera. That's something that's managed by the City of Toronto, not the Toronto Police. But there's no points involved. That's one big thing. Is it $4.25 now? I'm questioning whether or not it's I don't remember. And I can't tell you because I can't look it up. You know what? Join us on Monday. I'll have all those answers for you. All right, we'll keep going. Let's see here. Hey, if you don't already follow us, please do. We're on. I guess we're on the 500K train. Earlier this year, when we were what were we this year? We've gone. Well, we started from 0 this year. We were excited to hit 100. Well, we were excited to hit 18. Excited to hit 50. Thrilled to hit 100. Zoomed to 200. From 200, it's been a week to go to 400. We're at 420 probably right now. We're looking to go to 500. It's just anyway, mind blowing. Okay.
325.
It is 325. My first recollection was correct. So yeah, 325, and the ticket for a red light camera, I don't know. And Will says the beach in Cobourg is really nice. Yeah, apparently half of Toronto comes here in the summer. Too many people making TikToks while driving. It's not something I've seen, but any use of your cell phone is handheld communication device. You shouldn't be filming. You shouldn't be handling it. You shouldn't be surfing the web or Facebook, whatever the case may be. $615 ticket, 3 demerit points, 3-day suspension on conviction. Bad day. And we do see collisions caused by people who are distracted. Put the phone down. It's not worth it. Ashton Sign says, "Road to 1,000,000." You know what? I got some stuff that I'm planning for the holiday season. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. What is that? I got a message saying that someone sent TikTok Universe to somebody else. Why am I being notified about that? It's not to us, right? Did you see that cue? Did it jump across your screen?
No, I just saw
Oh.
you popped inverted and then back again.
Pop inverted. That was weird. Somebody sends something to somebody else, and I got a notification.
Can we talk about texting and driving and what the consequences are and punishment?
Texting and driving, we just talked about it. The same as handheld communication device. So whether you're texting, talking, surfing, swiping, photographing, you're using your cell phone, it's handheld communication device. And if you're using a non-communication device like an iPod that doesn't send or receive text messages, that's a handheld entertainment device. Same consequences. Can't use them. GPS is the only function you're allowed to use while in a car in terms of looking at the screen. You can't actually swipe the screen or utilize it. All right. Is reflecting tint allowed? No, it's not. You're not allowed to have reflective tint. You can't obstruct the interior of the vehicle. Police officers or members of the public need to be able to see inside of your vehicle to identify the driver. If the driver is inside using their phone or hits somebody and takes off, we're looking for the driver. We need to be able to identify them. So obscuring the interior of the vehicle by color tint or reflective tint is illegal. Now, we talk about that dealing with the driver's compartment in the back. It really doesn't matter. I would assume then that reflective would be okay for the rear, just not the driver's compartment. That's my assumption. Let's see here. That's an interesting question. Never been asked this. Passenger sunshade gone. Can I take car for G-test? I don't think that's a safety requirement. I don't think that they could hold that against you. But me thinking it and knowing it are two different things. I would need to check, or you would need to check with them in advance. But I can't imagine that being the case. What is this? I've seen live here in TikTok driving using phone. Not okay. You should tell them. Maybe they'll get reported for doing an unsafe act, which is what they should be doing. They really shouldn't be doing that. Let's see here. Is there a helicopter on the department? Toronto Police does not have their own helicopter. We phone a friend. We use theirs. We reimburse them for the costs, but we don't have our own. We don't use it enough or have the need to use it so much so that we would have a full-time staff, whereas more rural police services do have to cover much larger areas. We just have, actually, I don't know the reason why they chose not to. I'm assuming it's expense, but I wasn't on that phone call. Okay. Why can transports have extra lights in tint? Transports, I don't know what you mean. Are transport trucks allowed to have more tint? Not if they're registered in Ontario. If they're registered outside of Ontario, then they're complying with the laws of their jurisdiction. Extra lights, they're allowed to have running lights, like marker lights. That's different than having projecting lights. Maximum under the Ontario Highway Traffic Act is 4 lights to the front of the vehicle projecting with more than 300 lumens, 300 candela of power. Let's see here. Is passing a snow plow legal? I don't remember if it's illegal. It's certainly not a good idea. Super dangerous. We always see messaging, and we put out messaging saying don't pass snow plows. But I got to look up if it's legal or illegal. Either way, it's a bad idea. So let's leave it at that. Don't do it, regardless of it's legal or not. It's just not safe. Okay. How does aircraft patrol do? And I imagine what you're saying is speed enforcement. That's when they have markings on the road. You'll notice painted lines, and they have that good old stopwatch in their hand, and they measure the time it takes for a vehicle to cross one lane, line on the road, and pass across another, and the time and distance. They do some math and they figure out your speed. That's how, and then they would radio down to someone on the ground to make the vehicle stop. I don't know how often it's used, but I know in rural areas it is. I've never been involved with it because I don't think we do it, because probably York Region would be the closest service to Toronto that would use that. A question asking, is it wise to commit tax fraud? I'm going to say no, it's not wise. Any kind of criminal activity is not wise, despite how wonderfully smart some people think they are. They tend to get caught because they're just not that smart. Okay. Is it illegal to pass on a single or double yellow line? Legal to pass. So there's conditions in locations where it would be illegal, but it's not illegal to cross a line. The line is not specifically illegal. So there's no charge for crossing the line unless you're like there's charges for drive into oncoming traffic in certain areas in relation to certain locations. So is it a good idea? The whole idea of the solid line is to tell you it's not a good idea. So not taking its advice is not good. But is it illegal to cross the line? No. If you cause a collision while you're doing it, it's your fault and you're going to get charged. Q, what's happening on your end of the world?
I'm muting people.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll leave you to it. Were you part of the Winged Wheels? So the Winged Wheels was the name of the Motor Squad's demo team prior to it being called the Motor Squad's demo team. So I was a member of the Motor Squad. Highway Motor 62 is my call sign. And I was a member of the demo team, although I was a newer member of the demo team and not one of the senior members. But I miss being part of the Motor Squad, in case anyone's watching who is thinking that I don't know, bad attempt at a joke. Yeah, no, I love it. I was involved in a collision in 2018, and that's why I'm not with them right now. Okay. Can TPS pull you over on the 401 for speeding? Yes, we can. We have the authority to, because we are police officers in this whole big old province called Ontario. Outside of Ontario, unless we have a special agreement with where we get sworn in for a special assignment, we wouldn't have authority outside, but we do have authority within the entire province. And although we probably wouldn't go looking for enforcement opportunities on the highways that are not our jurisdiction, we often assist our friends with the OPP and vice versa. Okay. Can you talk about school buses and stop rules? School buses stop rules. So lights are flashing, the school bus is still in motion. Technically, while it's still in motion, you can still pass it. But courtesy would suggest it's a bad idea and you should just stop. Once that vehicle comes to a stop, even if the stop sign is not out, you must stop, and it is illegal to pass, and you get tickets and points and stuff. Now, in terms of whether or not you need to stop an oncoming traffic, it depends if it's a divided or undivided highway. If it's a divided highway, divided by a barrier, you do not need to stop in the opposing lane, so traffic oncoming traffic. If there is no, brain just shut off. What's it called? If it's not a divided, if it doesn't have a center island, or I should say a structure, what the heck am I talking about? I just said it 5 seconds ago. Anyway,
concrete, cement,
barrier, divided. There's another word that I was thinking, divider. I don't know. We'll go with that. So, and thanks, Q, for kickstarting the brain. Yeah, the deal is that if there was no divider, if it's an undivided highway, then you do have to stop in both directions. Hope that covers your question. Is it illegal to rev a manual car while driving? If you're creating unnecessary noise, revving it isn't the problem. It's creating unnecessary noise by way of revving it could result in tickets for unnecessary noise. And just of note, it doesn't matter if it's a stock car, a modified car. If it's a loud car, you can get in trouble. Stereo can make too much noise. Horn can make too much noise. Whatever the case may be.
You drink, I ask.
Okay.
Okay, first note to the table. Tassos got mauled by a polar bear, sorry. Next one is, our license plate covers legal.
Well, we've covered it a couple times. Hold on 1 second. Can I use the sound effect? Which sound effect would I use? I don't know. I want to press a button. Anyway, license plate covers are not legal. Doesn't matter if it's frames or covers, if they're clear or colored. Any cover, anything obstructing the license plate in any way, shape, or form is illegal. Peeling or plates that have damage or exposed metal or they're not as they should be, well, you know what? Those are illegal too. And we're enforcing those right now. Even though the sticker extension is still good till February 28th, if you have a peeling or damaged or obscured plate, you can expect to be stopped and charged. In Ontario, specifically in Toronto.
How serious is no front plate?
Serious enough to get a $110 ticket for it. You are required by law to display 2 plates in Ontario if your vehicle is registered here. If you don't, you're going to get stopped and charged. And if you don't and you get charged again. Eventually, you're going to get a go to court directly as opposed to just getting an optional pay the fine. Even if you choose to pay the fine, like I'm just going to pay the $110 for the privilege of having no front plate. That's going to wear out. Eventually, you're going to get sent directly to court, and higher fines could be the result.
Someone in chat said, "Good to know you've just settled an argument in my house."
I'm glad. Which one? I want to know which argument it was.
The plates?
Oh, it was the plates one in particular? Yes. Wait, which one? We just covered like 3 different plates things.
All of them.
All of them. Cool. All right. All right. Apparently, I'm getting giggly. It's because I'm tired, and I have work to do still. So we're gonna have to cut this off really shortly. If you don't already follow us, please do hit that follow button so you stay in touch with us. We are generally going live Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Except in situations like this where I'm on a conference or on a course outside of the jurisdiction, and I'm occupied during the day. So I'm doing this from my hotel room before hitting the hay and starting it up all over again tomorrow. Let's see here. We need more.
He means work, not the live stream, guys.
What are we talking about?
You starting it all up again tomorrow?
Yeah, work, not the live stream.
Yes.
Tomorrow there will be no live stream at all. I really wanted to come out and spend some time with you tonight because I won't be able to tomorrow at all. And then we'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. back from the studio. The studio, yes. I got some really exciting stuff that's happening. Christmassy holiday goodness that's happening. I'm going to tell you that I'm excited about it, that I'm really happy about it, but I'm not going to tell you what is actually happening because I don't want to ruin the magic. The magic's happening. We got some very cool stuff coming up.
I'm scared. Does that mean you're moving stuff around? We got to readjust all the audio again?
No, well, it's going to be on location stuff. Maybe some of it's going to be outside with some special people, some VIPs, some exciting stuff. Now, it's not necessarily going to be live streaming, but it might be some TikTok videos that might be produced with some people that are cool.
Tasso says he wants Christmas brunch for the mods.
I think that's a great idea. I'm going to be on vacation speaking of which, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm in next week for 4 out of 5 days, and then I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. So the big question is, do I go live from home every day or from wherever I am, or do I just not go live for 2 weeks? What do you guys think? Let me know. I want to know.
Does my perspective or voice have a matter or a say or any leverage or weight in this?
Yeah, of course. This is a conversation. The viewers need to know or need to discuss it. Obviously your voice counts. My family, Mrs. Shap has to weigh in. I've had a conversation with my wife. She said, listen, you have an obligation to the viewers. They need to know the answers to their questions. You can't leave them for 2 weeks. So there's a suggestion that maybe I go live on my vacation. What do you think, you?
I say happy wife, happy life.
But she says I can do it.
Right, and she's supporting you.
Oh,
so you should listen to her.
Okay,
like the winter tires.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Somebody says, so a Toronto cop could stop someone in Kenora. Technically, but here's the thing. We probably aren't going to be there. And if we are there, we're probably doing something very specific and wouldn't be doing traffic enforcement. But if we saw something criminal, I'd be obligated as police officers to act. So we'd probably phone a friend to take over, but maybe we'd stop you and investigate you. Yeah, technically, yeah. Okay. Is it illegal? So is it legal to have dark covers on license plates? No, it's not. Can my friend drive my car if they are licensed and your car is insured? Sure. Are wide body kits illegal? Not specifically. They're actually, I don't know how wide or, I don't know the specifics of the body kit that you're referencing, but generally speaking, if you put a wider tire on your vehicle, it needs to be covered. Otherwise, you have improper tires. So putting a body kit that covers the tires, fender extensions or whatever you want to call it, is to make it legal, not illegal.
There's a shout out to your wife in the chat. Warzone Epic says your wife is the greatest of all time.
Totally. I'm glad you acknowledge and recognize the greatness of my wife. She's awesome. She really is. And it's only because she's so bloody supportive that I get to do the things I do. Okay. Let me see here. I want to find, can you share with the ride programs, or where the ride programs are tonight? No, because then people will try and avoid them unless you want to actually go and get tested. The fact is, ride programs are running all through the holiday season. In fact, you know what? I wanted to dispel the rumor. The holiday ride season is an enhanced and larger ride, call out. But we have ride all the time. We're always looking for impaired drivers. We've been doing our weekly updates of all the arrests we do over the weekend, but we're arresting people every day of the week for impaired operation. Whenever we find them, we arrest them, and that's how that works. But the truth is, we want people to stop doing this. Education has been going on for years. We all know that impaired operation is illegal and wrong, causes death and destruction, affects communities and families, and there's no excuse for it. So that's my big holiday thing. That's my big ask of the holidays is if you're going to get behind the wheel of a car or a conveyance of any kind, do it sober. No drugs, no alcohol. That's my big thing. And yeah, finding ways to avoid being arrested. No, I hope anyone who gets behind the wheel of a car with drugs or alcohol in their system beyond the legal limit gets arrested and gets convicted. And that's no, there's no sympathy here. If you choose to do that, you deserve what you get.
Can you explain what the ride program is?
Ride program. Okay, really cool piece of history. Ride program, which currently means reduce impaired driving everywhere. I had to think about that for a second. Started off in Etobicoke. And it originally stood for Reduce Impaired Driving in Etobicoke. It started off in Toronto, and has become an Ontario-wide program. And ride programs, when in place, are where we go up and set out, and whether it be roving or ride programs that are what is that? There's mobile. That's what I was thinking of. Mobile ride, or we set up and pitch a sign and put a truck up and stop every car and interview everyone who goes through to say, hey, have you had any alcohol tonight? We actually have something now in place since 2018, I believe, which said mandatory alcohol screening. Streaming, that's what I do. Screening is what we do. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, apparently we gotta pack it in soon because I still have an hour's worth of work and then need to go to sleep. But mandatory alcohol screening is where we no longer require the odor of alcohol to say I'm going to do a test, a roadside screening device test. So what we do is we have, whether it be every 5th car, every 10th car, every blue car, whatever the case may be, as long as we determine that before we start doing what we're doing, we'll stop a car and we'll do a road test. A roadside screening test looking for alcohol. And you're obligated by law to provide that test. And if you don't want to provide the test, then you get arrested and charged for not providing that test and not complying with the demand, which is a legal demand. So we're taking this very seriously, and we have been for many years. And I'm beating the drum.
Okay, going on screening then, if you have not enough breath to blow into that, can you opt for a blood test? Say, for example, what if you have COPD?
I'm not a breath tech myself. I've not been trained to operate as a technician. I have been qualified to use a roadside screening device. If someone was unable to perform the test and I believed that they were trying, then I could transport them to the next person who would then be the qualified breath tech to do it. The deal is that I've never met anybody who didn't have the ability to provide a breath sample. But I have to get you more information or get more information to be able to answer your question, because COPD is not something that I can give you an opinion on. I'm not familiar with it. I've just never met anybody who couldn't provide. Everyone I've ever had a demand complied and produced a test and went on their merry way because they generally weren't impaired. But it's a good question, and if you DM me, I can respond directly to you. Okay. Let's see here. I think I need background music while I'm reading because I feel awkward scrolling through. And the reason I'm scrolling through is because there's a bunch of duplicates, and I want to get a good one before we, turn everything off and go to bed. Oh, Judicall says, good evening. Good evening, Judicall. One of our moderators. How did I miss that? How did I just see that now?
That was the good one that you picked?
Well, that was just one that I was acknowledging. Now I got to scroll through again. Let's see here. Someone wants to know. Read something about new stunt driving fines. Okay. Stunt driving. So a couple of things came into play this year. One came into play in July 1st, I believe. And that was if you are speeding 40 kilometers over the marked speed limit and the speed limit is under 80 kilometers an hour, you only need to go 40 over to be stunt driving. Does that sound right? 40 over as opposed to 50. Previously, or prior to July 1st, 50 over any marked speed limit, it was stunt. But for slower speeds, that really didn't do it fast enough. So 40 over, if the speed limit is under 80, that's stunt driving. If the speed limit is 80 or over and you exceed the speed limit by 50, that's stunt driving. But intentionally losing traction by way of burnouts or donuts or whatever you want to call it, that's all stunt driving. Hitting the gas and what was it called? A jackrabbit start, where you hit the gas and you make your left turn in front of traffic before they get a chance to respond. That's stunt driving. Driving with someone in the trunk of the car, that's stunt driving. There's a lot of things that qualify as stunt driving. And as of September 12th of this year, if you are stunt driving, instead of losing a car for 7 days and a suspension for 7 days, you now lose your car for 14 days and have a suspended license for 30 days. So those are the biggest changes. Also, stunt driving now applies on private property. So if you are doing donuts on your driveway, let's say you got a big driveway, that's now stunt driving, and you could technically be charged for stunt driving and lose your vehicle and license. Okay. Did I miss anything, Q?
No, you never miss a beat.
All right, cool. Thank you. I don't even know anymore. I'm now officially tired. If your wife allows you, please go live on your vacation. I think that's what's going to happen. I think whether it be every day or every other day, we'll figure out something that works for everybody, and I'll try and do it. Maybe we'll do a couple of evening ones like this and try and do some variety. Because you know what? I'm sure that most of you, although some of you obviously we know from our daytime shows at 9 a.m., some of you may not have ever had the opportunity to hang out with us and get your questions answered. We've also been toying with the idea of having staggered starts. Maybe staggered start's not the right thing, but a moving start time. So maybe we do Mondays at 9, Tuesdays at 10, Wednesdays at 11, back to, something like that. We got to figure out, make sure that we coincide with Jerry Agar's show on News Talk 1010 at least every other week, because we'd have to be on at 9 a.m. for them. We try and do that on Wednesdays. Someone wants to know about stretched tires. Stretched tires, I believe you're referring to when you put a rim that is wider than that of the tire so that the sidewall is stretched over the rim to make it work. Those are not safe. That's something that you might be pulled off the road for, lose your plates for. They're unsafe. The tire's not designed to be operated that way. Okay. Here's a good question. What ages children need car seats? Depending on what age they are, will depend on what seat they end up in or what they need to be in. However, they legally need to be in some sort of car seat or safety restraint until they are 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9". Now, that's the bare minimum requirement for legal reasons, but it's not the safest reason. So it might be that they should be in there longer because even though they're 8 years old, they're small, or maybe they're big, but they're shorter and younger. Like the combination doesn't automatically mean it's safe. It just means it meets the requirements for the law. There's a 5-point check. You can look it up to see what the best tests you can do to ensure. Like one of them is making sure that that their back can be flush against the back of the seat, and that when they do that, their knees are at the front of the seat, bending as opposed to sticking forward. These are things that most people don't take pay attention to. Okay, I think. And I was going to say, don't quote me, but do. I think we're going to call it a night because I could keep going through and I see lots and lots of questions and I apologize. But you know what? Actually, this is a great opportunity. Q&A is working again. At least it seems to be working again. Q&A in our main page. So if you go onto our main page and drop a question in the Q&A section, we are apparently now being able to see it. It's been like 2 months we haven't been able to use it, but TikTok just updated and boom, it's back again. So if you've got a question here and we haven't gotten to you, please come and ask us the question. Is there anything that's come through on YouTube, Q? Because I have not paid attention at all. I've been staring at my TikTok only.
How long should I wait to drive after smoking? And I'm guessing they're saying marijuana.
Yeah, I guess that too. The deal is you can't be under the influence, and it's going to be different for everybody. I can't give you a specific number because it's going to be different for everyone. But just know that if you are found to be under the influence, you're criminally responsible for that. So it's not going to be a specific number. It's going to be different for everybody, and we do test for it. And not only is there a buccal swab test for, testing the immediate, I guess, presence of THC, but there's also the ability to be taken before a drug recognition expert. They would have you do a breathalyzer to rule out alcohol, and then they would run you through a battery of tests for basically sobriety, for checking to see what kind of drug you're on. We also have officers trained in standard field sobriety, so that's an option too. At the end of the day, it's not worth mixing. So if you're going to drive, don't consume any marijuana. And that's all I can talk about there. Anything else from the tube of you?
What can I do if someone hits me and drives off? I forgot their plate. And another question. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Another question that came up in chat was if I was involved in a hit and run and I have their plates, what can I do?
Well, both are pretty much the same answer. Let's start with the first one. The second one, which is now the first one because I've changed the order of operations. If you are involved in a collision and the other driver flees the scene, you have the plate. Fantastic. You can, if your vehicle is drivable, you can take it to a collision reporting center. If your vehicle, and assuming you're not injured and requiring medical attention and being transported to the hospital, of course. But if it's drivable, if it's minor, you can go to a collision reporting center. You can make the report, and you can include the information about the vehicle. Now, here's the thing: if you don't remember the vehicle, you still make the fail to remain collision report with as much information as you can. But here's my suggestion, and I wholly endorse this. It's not specific to a brand, so I'm happy to make it. Dash cameras will help you. There are cameras that are front and back facing. They will help you get that information to actually confirm that the story that you're telling is not only true, but getting information like license plates, it's invaluable. And now, if you don't have one, and I appreciate not everybody has money to drop on a dash camera, if you're in a collision, as quickly as you can, try and record it. If you've got, pen, paper, notepad on your phone, you've already been in a collision, there's not more that's going to happen. You've stopped your vehicle. Maybe there's a few moments. Try and get that information. But at the end of the day, you're going to get covered by your insurance. You just want to have as much information to get the person who caused it caught and before police for a report. Now, it is an offense to fail to remain. So not only would someone running away result potentially in charges, but it's you hold people responsible for the things they do. Yeah, I pay for insurance. You pay for insurance. We want to make sure that the people who are not paying for insurance, which is usually why they're running, they're either impaired, not insured, not licensed. There's reasons people take off. It's not because they're. It's generally. I shouldn't say it's not because. It's generally not because they're just having a bad day.
We have some viewers that are from the stateside. Could you please clarify who you are?
Oh, we have American visitors. Hey, how's it going from down south? My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. So we are the official account for the Toronto Police Traffic Services Unit, and we go live and answer questions on a regular basis, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. usually. But I am a media relations officer, and I'm at the OMRON, the Ontario Media Relations Officer Network. That's what we're here doing today out in wonderful Cobourg. So. For the folks that are American, we love that you're watching this show. We love that you're participating. Many of the safety laws are the same where you are, but some of the equipment requirements are different. So the biggest thing is if you're going to make a big life-changing change to your vehicle, make sure you check with your local authorities. And while we talk about things that are safe in Ontario and legal here, rules of the road, I imagine, are going to be the same pretty much anywhere. Otherwise, they wouldn't let us drive our cars south of the border. But the majority of the rules are the same. It's equipment things that tend to be different. But anything that's unique, we'd love to hear your comments and opinions. And if you have any interesting stories, share them because we'd love to hear them. But I say that, and then I say, and by the way, I'm shutting down for the night because I have work to do, and I am still got to go to bed because sleeping is important. Let's see.
Oh, I was like, did I miss my cue again?
Yeah, Q missed a Q.
As usual.
Actually, do you have time for Q-tips?
Like the new plates that are so wrong.
We were talking about plate. We've had a lot of discussion of plate. Maybe we'll have our quick, wind down now, talking about license plates. So, Toronto Police is taking a zero tolerance approach to bubbling, peeling, damaged license plates. If you've got them, get them replaced. Take them in. Either get them warranty replaced at the MTO for free if they're within 5 years. Sometimes we're hearing people that even though they're longer than 5 years, are still being replaced. That's awesome. But get it done because you don't want the $110 fine. We talk about the new plates that are horrible in terms of visibility. They just all reflect and they're completely illegible. People said, well, are those illegal too? They're not. There was a discussion about whether or not they're going to be recalled, and I imagine that will be at some point. But the focus right now is on the ones that are damaged and defective. The ones that were manufactured poorly from the start, that's not on you. They will eventually, I'm sure, issue a recall. It just hasn't happened. The focus is on the damaged white and blue ones, not the new Kleenex box ones. Or Q-tip box ones, or whatever box. It looks like a box from a product. That's why we keep referring to them.
What kind of Kleenex box do you use that looks like a Q-tip box? Sir?
I guess it's a Q-tip box, but it's whatever. Okay, listen, it has been a blast. If you don't already follow us, please do. Check out our videos. Check out our page. Check out the Tint video. That's at like
Safe
4 million.
Communities is in the chat.
Hey, Safe Communities, how's it going? Do they want to go live right now for 5 seconds? No. Every time we try and go live with them, we have technical difficulties. It's like we're not meant to be. I think it's something about Alberta. I think that's what it is. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. And who's from Cobourg? Where do you mean, hey from Cobourg? Let's see here. Hold on a second. I just saw a message from Cobourg. Hey from Cobourg. Who dare? Okay, it scrolled away. It's gone. All right, we're going to shut her down. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Have a wonderful and safe night. And we'll see you back here live on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, TikTok and everywhere else.
And everywhere else, especially our American friends.
Yes.
Not especially, as well as. Everyone's equal here.
All right. Bye, guys.
Brill774, have a good one. From Cobourg, because I'm in Cobourg.